Welcome back to the Tide Hanger. This is Mike, and I'm coming at you with another video. This time I want to talk to you about the IronTrans IR-V01 Starblade, and it's IronTrans' take on Star Saber. I think it's a great figure. It's a beautiful figure. Feels very solid. We're going to talk about the good. We're going to talk about the little bit of bad coming up. But I got this at Show Z. You can get yours too. I'll have a link down below. Let's get into it. Here's the box. This is pretty cool looking packaging. It comes in definitely different than the box for their Legend. There's the back of it, so you can see all the different modes. Here's what it comes packed in. Yeah, that's how it comes packed. Alright, for those of you who don't know anything about IronTrans or don't collect Legends, one or the other, IronTrans is known for their Legends figures that they made. They made these Dotson brothers. They made 3 of them. I only have the 2, and I keep one in alt mode, one in bot mode. It's kind of fun. But it's really surprising that they went from making Legends to making something like this. This is a big undertaking compared to a Legends figure, and I'm pretty impressed. Okay, so here he is, the size comparison to Magic Square's Optimus Prime. Went ahead and went with the white version of Optimus Prime just to be different and to kind of shake it up a little bit, but he's massive. He towers over Prime. I think he'd even tower over Fantasy Phoenix. But yeah, big dude. Really big dude. First off, I want to take a good look at this guy. And he has quite a bit of paint on him. And looking at his face, he's got his eyes painted. We got some gold paint here and here. I think the red's all painted, but that could be the plastic color. Also in his little mouth visor, it looks good. It just looks good. That's a head on top of a head. So that's how that works. And so there's a bit of parts forming that goes with this guy, but I think that's just how it was in G1. Looking down, we got some gold here on this chest, some white paint on the chest, and you feel a lot of die cast throughout it. It just feels really solid. But you know, there's not ratchets in it. We're going to get that in the articulation. We got some gold right here. That red is definitely painted. Strange, like a narrow waistline in there. Looking down at that blue looks beautiful. Just all the colors, red, white, and blue, you know. It is definitely painted well. Looks good. The color schemes work really well. I don't have a G1 to compare it to, but we'll compare it to a few other things, like paint little accents there. And these little pieces here, they like to kind of push in real easy. The feet, we have some accent right here. I love the blue on it. The blue is beautiful. It's kind of a metallic blue, but not exactly what I would think. Man, that's a big sword. He comes with a huge sword. Let's get a look at the back view here. And he is really clean. This bot is real. I know that the Takara one was clean. I no longer have this Takara on either one. I knew this thing was coming out. I figured it would just be awesome, and it really is. It does fit the bill. Looking at some articulation, we could do the head up and down and all around. But he's sitting on another head. This here, I didn't get it in quite as tight as I should have. I wish I could have gotten it in there a little bit tighter. The little guy, when he goes in here, I got some tricks how I got it in there. The biggest problem with his articulation is his shoulder only goes out to there. I got to figure out, there's got to be a way to get it to go out further than that, but that's as far as it goes. But you can spin it all the way around, and that's fine. You do have bicep swivel in there. You do have a 90 on the elbow, and the hands will splay really nicely. They move, and every finger's individually 1, 2, 3, 4 points of articulation, 3 points of articulation, and they splay. It works. Where's that other finger? You're missing a finger. You got the waist swivel, and you do have an ab crunch. You do have the thigh swivel. You have a double jointed knee, and there's die cast in it. Let's get that second joint working in that knee right there, and it's die cast. It looks good. Definitely some serious posability that you can do with this guy. And down to the ankle, you do have a little bit of a rocker to it. You can go serious down and a bit up. So there's quite a bit you can do with it. It does have the heel spur on it and all of that. So there's a little bit of limit to the rocker, but this thing is pretty highly posable. So shoulders, feet, aside from that, it's got some great posability to it. Now I want to show you the system for holding the weapons. You can just slide this into the groove and it holds it well and it works well, but it doesn't really kind of look like you're holding it so much, but it gets the job done and it doesn't fall out, and I think that's an effective way to do it. Now looking at his other hand where you hold his sword, now this sword has two different setups. You can either plug in the long, or you can flip around, unplug this long one, flip around the short handle and just have a one handle. But the reason they have a long one is so you can do this double. Let's show you how you can double wield this thing. So this is how you achieve this double-handed pose. Now, I think it looks great, excellent for display, really a cool option to have. Although I would probably just go with the short one because it's tight fit. It's a really tight fit, and I'm scared to push it all the way, the long one all the way down. But yeah, that is an excellent way to do it if that's the way you want to go and you want to display your figure holding it. Yeah, you can do a little something like that, have a sword in the stone moment or something. So let's go ahead and pull this guy apart and look at the other components of him, since he is sort of a modular figure here. And let's move the shoulders just a bit to get him out. I find that's the easiest way to get him out. And here is his chest. His head is just simply a removable kind of parts forming chest. Then you're left with this guy here. So with this guy, we're going to separate it, slide his legs down. It's a fairly simple transformation. And then you just want to straighten the knees and put the gold piece back in there. And then bring down the feet. Bring down the feet. Come on, guys. And then fold those back. Then we have to pull the arms out. Same thing here. Slide down the arms. Now, one thing about this, you are going to have some opening in this guy. Now, this guy here is a little bit smaller and a little less detailed than, say, the main guy. But he's still not bad. It's still not a bad figure, really, at all. I like it. I think he's pretty cool looking. And he does have the Brain Master in there. So, here's a quick look at the Brain Master. Really tiny. I think he's even smaller than the G1 Brain Master. I don't have a G1, so I really don't know. But I'm going to keep him in there so I don't lose him. So it'll be a nice, easy way to not lose that guy. So this guy here would have all the posability you expect. His head moves around, which really kind of gives you the same posability you're going to get in the main one, since the head just goes on top of the head. You get a little more shoulder articulation with this one. And, you know, so bicep swivel, elbow, hands don't really move. We're going to get to the hands in a second. Waist, minor waist swivel there, no ab crunch, of course. 90, keeping those knees straight. He's so double jointed. Not quite a 90 to the back. And you do have some thigh swivel. And the knee is just kind of strange. Anyway, but it's kind of less articulation, no die cast in the smaller version. But I didn't really expect it. He looks good for what he is. Now, there's a couple things you can do with this guy, and one of them is change his hands out. So I'm going to just do one hand, and you simply pop out the old hand, put in the new hand, and it's kind of like a splayed hand. Now, you can only use these hands in display when he's in this mode. When you transform into anything else, you'll need the other hands in there, or just leave all the hands out entirely if that's what you want. You also have this sword. Let's move him back a bit. And I'm going to put the sword in his hand, like so. And of course, everything is still pretty tight on him. And the funny thing is that this sword looks a lot like the other sword. They look real similar. Of course, it's supposed to. It's kind of, you know, the same guy, just one bigger sword. And I don't know all of the stuff behind the the lore on this guy. Another cool gimmick is you can take the big gun, change it from the large handle to a small handle, and this guy can hold the big gun also. It's not really that big of a gun, but yeah, it fits in there. So let's transform this guy up into an airplane mode, and we're going to get all this transformed into airplane mode. So here it goes. So you get the arms condensed down, fold the hands in, and slide down the arms into the lower position so they're good and low. Then you're going to flip this around, fold out this little armature, and next you want to fold down these knee pieces so that you can transform it up. So fold that back. You're going to come around here, tab these in together. There's this little piece right here that gets included in tabbing it together. So there we go. Then straighten out the wings. And this is where you're going to need the big sword. So we need to disassemble. No, disassemble the sword here. And you can put this tip back in. And then we have to take this off. So let's see, which way does it slide off? It only slides off one way. Close that. Close that. And we have his airplane mode, which does look pretty good. If you care about landing gear and displaying it in this mode, you're going to have to put this extra parts forming landing gear on. And it's simply a hole here and a hole there. Tab it in and close it all up again like you had it. And there you go with your landing gear. Pop this landing gear out. Gosh, that seemed easier when I didn't want it to come out than when I do want it to come out. And for filming purposes, it looks better with the landing gear. For display purposes in jet mode, yeah, it definitely looks better with the landing gear. So you can do a lot of things with this guy. You can move the wings in whatever direction, however you want. It does have all the same paint and all that stuff that we had in bot mode. It does look pretty good. And I think this canopy opens. Let's see if we can open the canopy. If you open the canopy, you can put the Brainmaster in there. There is the Brainmaster. You can put him in there if that's what you choose to do. If that's where you want to keep your Brainmaster, it works. So you can keep him there, or you can keep him in the chest here. Either way, that works fine. Alright, let's get this guy transformed up. You need to get the arm to look like this. So we open this flap here, and then this flap over here. And then we're going to slide it down. But see, there's a notch right there, and you have to kind of slide it past. It'll slide down okay, but then it hits that notch. So you kind of have to work it past that notch to slide it down the rest of the way. A little tricky. There it goes. Now it'll slide down the rest of the way. Make sure you have that flap. Oh, don't catch that flap there. Alright. The hands tuck in like normal, typical hands do. They tuck in. Fold the fingers in and all that good stuff. And fold them into here. And it all tabs in like that. So you got the arms done. Then we got to work on these legs. So it's kind of strange how the legs work. All right, so we're gonna fold these and then fold it like this. Get it like that because it's gonna fold outwards, and then push the inside pieces in. And those kind of kept messing with me along the way, and then it's gonna fold out like so, just like that. Same thing over here. And there we go with that guy. Next we're going to turn around to the back. And we need to do something with this backpack. So we're gonna fold this backpack, fold it out, and then we have to lift these pieces here up to kind of gap fillers in a way. And then we're going to slide this piece down. It's got to connect into, a lot of little pieces are going to connect real quick to hold it in place. So you pull this little piece out, it's kind of on its thighs, and it tabs in right there. You start tabbing the backpack in, and you tab that in like so, and then you tab it into the leg right here, and you do the same thing on the other side. Lots of fun, let me tell you. And tab in this leg. There it goes. Now I'm kind of scared because of there is paint to this. There's a lot of paint on this. I don't want to lose any paint. That's my biggest problem with this whole situation here. Straighten these up. Now we got to do the feet. And so the feet are really strange. Let's see if I can get them in there. There it is. So the trick with the feet, I'm making it harder than it really is fold this up and over, and then just slide it in. It slides, but then it came unhooked, and I probably lost some paint. Now you can see paint, on my table here, paint is just flaking off of this, and that's what scares me about this transformation. It's mostly white paint, and it's mostly in stuff you'll never ever see and never notice, but it is kind of bothering me. Now we got to take this guy, I'm going to fold these wings up, these wings down. We got to get it inside of here. So let's get them in there. Looks like it's going to be a really tight fit. And it just, after fiddling with it, it just kind of slides in there. It just takes a lot of fiddling. I guess I should have kept all that on camera. That probably would have been more fun. So here it is in a spaceship mode. It looks like something you'd see on Robotech maybe. Not really the best looking ship, but it does have a ship mode. So you can't say it doesn't have that mode. You can't say it's lacking in that department because it's there. If you want to, you can connect the head right here also with this flap. And you can have the helmet on there and then aim the little guns forward and then manipulate the head to where it's kind of flat. And then you can slide it on there. Let's slide it on there. I had it on there a second ago. The head is pretty flimsy. So it is with the head on it and everything. It's one of these weird things. I've seen various different configurations of this guy. Looks like I missed a tab right here. So I've seen different configurations of how they have set these wings up, like up or down, but not really the best jet mode. It all holds in place. It's huge, it's massive. Here's a Legends car next to it so you can kind of see size. It's just big. I don't really have the G1 to compare it to or the first Masterpiece, but I probably won't have it in this mode that often, but it's good that it can do it. It's good that it transforms. Like, it has that on some of these other ones, but you know, it's a spaceship. It's got its wings, it's got all that, and probably not the best mode, but it works. And it's kind of what I think of. I would have liked maybe for the legs to have been a little closer together and not have this huge gap in the back. I always thought, like, with this big gap, something else was supposed to, like, does this connect to something else? Maybe it does. I don't know. Does Leo Convoy connect to Star Saber somehow? Is that a thing? Maybe it is. I don't know. I'll find out, I guess, when we get the Victory Leo and we combine them all together. I want to show in this mode, we do have some more detailing you don't see, some charcoal gray, some gold paint and highlights. All this blue is painted beautifully, and then these kind of intake or what, I don't know, maybe you could put them out on the side too, maybe add a little bit of something to it. Around to the back, we see these. This was visible on the bottom mode too. You can angle these pieces here if you want, maybe give it just a little bit different look. On the back, yeah, you see a big opening. Don't like that, but landing gear right here, and I think there's more landing gear. What is this for? Yeah, there's more landing gear right here. So yeah, that does make it look a little bit better, so you can tuck this one back in. And not much else to say about this mode. You can still have the Brain Master hidden away in here, piloting it, and I just love that anything that has opening cockpits on it, it's really cool, really awesome, and it's massive. So this is the IronTrans IRV01 Starblade, their stylized take on Star Saber. I think it's an overall good figure. It looks beautiful, it presents well, it's got a lot of paint on it, it has some die cast, it has some heft, the joints are tight even though they're not ratcheted. I haven't really had any issues with it except for the paint flaking, and I can't even see where it flaked off. Maybe it's just the white plastic kind of rounded off as I was transforming it. So I don't really see where paint has scratched off anywhere. I don't have any issues really with paint blemishes on it. And also the shoulders and the feet, not articulated as well as I'd like, but overall this guy looks good. He has a shelf presence, he looks good. And from a company that's only so far put out, this is their first masterpiece, and they put out this little 3-pack here of these Legends figures, I think that they show promise. Hopefully do a whole lot more masterpiece figures in the future. Let me know what you think about this. Get yours from Show Z. Like, subscribe, try to hang out. This guy's pretty stable too. Hit that table. He won't fall over. Pretty awesome.